Hey entrepreneurs, it's Sam Day here from DeyTips, and in this video I'm speaking about your visitors not knowing you and why that is so important and why that will be impacting your sales to your business and when marketing your business. So I say it all the time, and it's a popular marketing statement that people buy online from people and companies that they know, like, and trust. So if you're sending someone to your website who doesn't really know about you or your product or your service or your brand, then they're less likely to make a purchase than if they know your brand. I always use the example of Apple. You know, Apple are a well-established brand. People know who they are. If you go into an Apple store, you're more likely to spend thousands of pounds on a product because you know who Apple are. They have been marketing to us for years. So we know that they are a good established brand. We're not more likely to make a purchase. But if we walk into an electronics store that we have never heard of before, a brand that is unfamiliar to us, how likely are we to spend £2,000 with them from one transaction? The chances are very slim because we don't know who they are. We might do things like go onto YouTube and look up reviews and, try and have a little bit more touch points with this business, with this brand, seeing some other people's experiences with it before we can trust it fully and make a purchase. But we're unlikely to walk into an Apple store and start researching Apple as a company and reviews and so on and so forth, because we already are familiar with that brand. And you might be thinking, so what do I need to do? Become famous and get millions of followers on social media so that people can trust my brand and they're more likely to buy? Well, obviously that would help, but it's not realistic for the vast majority of people. What's a lot more realistic is building your community of people who know, like, and trust you and who are your customers and who buy frequently from your website. So whenever you're doing any kind of traffic campaign, whether that be free traffic or paid traffic, when people first stumble across you, they're not going to know who you are. So these are what we call cold visitors. People who don't really understand your brand, don't know who you are yet, don't know if they can trust you yet, but you need to warm these people up into warm traffic and hopefully prospects who are literally in the ready to buy mindset, and your brand comes to mind because they have been seeing you online frequently, and now you are the brand in that niche that they trust and that they want to buy from. So an example of cold traffic might be when you're doing paid advertisement, maybe on Google ads or maybe Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads, and you're targeting people who don't know you yet. So you're maybe targeting people via age, via demographic, and people who you think will fit the customer avatar that you have created for your business. If you don't have your target audience for your business yet, then I highly recommend downloading the formula. This will give you the tools to be able to do that for you effectively, so you know who you're actually targeting and you can create marketing campaigns to help you to reach those people. So as you can see, there's a copy behind me. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below as well. It's completely free. Make sure you go and grab your copy. But essentially, when you're running cold traffic, paid campaigns to your website or to your landing page, these people are not likely to buy. Like, the vast majority of them are unlikely to buy because they don't trust you yet. But you can actually retarget the people who visit your website via your traffic campaign. So both free traffic and paid traffic. So for example, when you're doing social media ads, you can actually create what's known as custom audiences on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And I teach this on this YouTube channel as well and explain how to do this. So what that means is you can target people. If you have your pixel installed, you can retarget people who have visited your website and also people who visited specific pages of your website as well. So you might wonder how platforms like Amazon know when you visited certain pages on their site. So you might be looking at a certain pair of trainers on Amazon, and then half an hour later, you're on Instagram and you're seeing adverts to those exact trainers. That's because Amazon know how to do retargeting, where they can retarget people based on what products they were looking at on their website. So you can do this by simply pasting a little bit of code on your website, and then you can retarget people back to your site. So if you're running advertisements on Facebook, then you want to install the Meta Pixel. If you're running advertisements on LinkedIn, LinkedIn have their own pixel as well. So whatever advertisement platform you are on, including Google, then you want to install that pixel on your site so it tells that platform who has visited your site, and it can retarget those people as well. So another way to warm up your prospects is something I speak about all of the time on this YouTube channel, which is email marketing. So you should have some way for people to sign up to your email list when they come to your website. And I don't recommend just having a generic sign up for updates on your site where people can leave their name and email address. Nobody wants updates, and your conversion rates and people who actually do that is going to be really small unless you have something more captivating. I have the formula as an example. This is the free guide to generate leads and sales online. It's comprehensive. I go through so many different marketing techniques, and I give that away to my audience for free in return for a name and email address. So start thinking about who your target audience is. Who are you trying to reach with your product or your service? Can you create something of valuable for free that you can give to them in return for their name and email address to entice them to actually join your database? And then you want to reach out to them often. So the first time they come across your website, they don't know who you are. They might not spend any money with you, but they see a really valuable giveaway on your site and they become a lead. And then they get an email from you a week later or 2 weeks later, they go to your site again. Now they're more familiar with you because not only have they visited your website before, but they've downloaded your free guide and it was really useful and they got value from it. So now this is their third interaction with you after seeing an email, clicking the link, going back to your website. This is now the third time that they've interacted with you, and they might be a lot more likely to do business with you on that third time because they're no longer a cold lead. They're actually now a hot prospect because they've gone through that system. Now, obviously, you can technically retarget people at what we call the top of the funnel as well if you're doing social media marketing. So if someone comes across one of your pieces of content on Instagram or YouTube or wherever it is that you make content, they also have the option to follow you. Now, followers can be somewhat of a vanity metric in a lot of cases because of the algorithm. People who follow us don't necessarily see the content that we put out. So sometimes we have big follower numbers, but not as many views on our individual pieces of content because the algorithm isn't great at suggesting our content to the people who follow us. So we do want to go deeper. We definitely want to make sure we get people from social media to our email list. But that being said, a very, very small call to action to someone who may have gained benefit from our content is to ask them to follow you on social media. So at least you're giving yourself a better opportunity when they first discover you on social media to find you again, because you're more likely to show up in their feed if they are following you than if they are not. So obviously, if someone is not following you and they stumble across a piece of your content and you don't ask them to subscribe, you don't ask them to follow you, then they might never see your content again. And as a result, never go to your website and never become a customer. But if you do ask for that follow, then they're a little bit more likely to see your content the next time they log into that social media platform. And the more they see your content, you're building up touch points with this person. And it might be the third or fourth touch point when they decide to visit your website, leave their name and email address, or more importantly, maybe even buy one of your products. I think one of the main things to think about is the fact that a sale is a process. You might not necessarily make a sale the very first time someone stumbles across your website, your product, or your service. You need a strategy to be able to warm them up to the idea of doing business with you over a series of emails, some social media content, warming someone up from a cold prospect into someone who knows, likes, and trusts you and understands the value that your product or service has. And then it's your job to ensure that your product or your service is of high quality so you can retain them as a customer, and hopefully they turn into a brand advocate as well and tell other people about how awesome your product or your service is. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you download the formula completely free. It's the free guide to help you to generate more leads and sales online using the marketing strategies that I speak about on this channel, but breaking it down for you step by step. As you can see, there's a copy behind me. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I also have my Master Digital Marketing course. So for those of you who want to propel your digital marketing and understand some of the basic concepts and some of the more advanced topics as well, then make sure you check that out. But if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss when my next video goes live. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.